on a scale of 1 to 10, give me your number of your level of concern with the Redskins offense through 3 games in the preseason.
I was hoping I would go later because I could shock you guys with my number. I'm at like a 2, honestly.
Wow.
I'm really low, and Scott and I have been talking about this a little bit. I think one of the big things people talk about is, the first team offense never got in the end zone.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about it, Alfred Morris was ruled down at the 1-inch line against Cleveland. He gets in the end zone there, and that whole storyline is totally gone. And that has nothing to do with Robert Griffith III. That has nothing to do with play calling. That has to do with an extreme judgment call made by officials where the ball was an inch away from the goal line. So I don't worry about that much. Remember, the first preseason game, Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon didn't play at all.
Right.
Obviously, they weren't doing a lot of what we expect the actual offense is going to be in terms of the bootlegging, getting RG3 out of the pocket, throwing on the run a little bit more. I mean, he hasn't looked great, but he hasn't looked very good. But he also had that nice long pass to Jordan Reed that was called back because of holding on Trent Williams. I mean, I think that we're extremely overanalyzing what was in total less than a game by the first team offense against 2 pretty good defenses, with the team not even running the real first team offensive plays. I don't think it's a big deal at all. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal at all, and I think last year we thought it was a big deal when they went 4-0 in the preseason. Right. Obviously it wasn't, so I would not worry yet.
So you're way low on the scale. What about you, Brandon?
I'm a little more concerned. I say like a 6 or so.
6, okay.
Because you pointed out the Alfred Morris thing, but he didn't score. That's the
issue. The bottom line,
yeah,
right?
so I mean, and again, 1 inch, like you said, 1 yard, 1 inch, big difference. But I don't know. I feel like, and we'll talk about RG3 some I know more later, but just the timing I think is going to be important because you've got all these new faces with Deshaun Jackson and Garçon getting used to playing alongside him, and some of the running backs getting their rotation. So it's just a lot of different factors that, yes, it's just preseason. Everything's not going to be, churning and running as it should when you're only playing little spot time here and there. But the defense isn't built. This isn't the Ravens' defense. They're not built to carry this team. So you need some type of production from the guy RG3 and everybody around him. So I'm about a 6. Maybe maybe a little bit more, actually.
And you guys will have a chance to expand on these answers as we go and talk more specifically about RG3. But what's your level? Are you more 6 or are you more 2, Scott, or somewhere in between?
I'm going to split the difference exactly and say 4. All right. I'm really, like Dan said, we talked about it. I'm not all that worried. We're talking preseason here. The most concerning thing for me, more than the offense, lack of offense production, is RG3 running out of the pocket and taking hits. I mean, that Cleveland game, besides the Alfred Morris being ruled down at the inch line, he had a fumble at the 50. The Redskins totally dominated that first quarter yardage-wise. And if you look at the stats, which is a silly thing to do in the preseason, they're kind of middle of the pack.
We're talking about the preseason right now, so
Last year the Redskins were 4th in the preseason in points per game. The Packers were last, and I think we know how that turned out. So.
Yeah, so I mean, basically the overriding, what I'm feeling from you guys, or at least the 2 on the ends, the boggers here, is the don't overreact here. It's still early, and
it's still preseason.
You can't read too much into it.
Right.
But given the fact, I mean, there are some warning signs given the fact that it's a new offense, a new head coach, trying to force possibly a square peg into a round hole.